Hi, Zach. How are you?
Good, Catherine. How are you tonight? How you doing? Oh, did we lose you?
I've never.
Hello. Is that you, Officer Sturiali?
Hey, Zach, how are you?
Yeah, what's going on? I figured you had the kids there.
Yeah, of course. Everything going well?
Good, yeah, really good. Just staying busy.
Good, good.
How's things on your end? I know the chief has a meeting with the committee for university community relations tonight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to reschedule tonight's meeting. I had it originally on yesterday, but it was Yom Kippur, so we bumped it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I inadvertently scheduled it on Yom Kippur by accident.
Yeah.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
Got so many balls in the air. You're trying to just juggle everything.
No, exactly. Webster should be coming on shortly. I know he's got all the information and stuff for the meeting, so I'll be listening in. If anybody has any questions for me, I'll be here.
Thank you. And hi, Catherine.
Hi, I'm back. My whole computer just went. So I'm glad I could join a few minutes early. You probably thought, well, that was odd.
Good. How you doing?
Yes, I hope you're well. Thank you again. I think it got cut off, so I apologize. Thank you again for the generous invitation.
Sure. Did you have like a slideshow or are you doing like a video?
Yes. So is it okay with you to do allow share screen with audio? If you're able to allow me to do that. I think where it says share screen, you click and then it says allow others to share.
Yeah, I think it should be okay.
Oh, is it all set? Oh, good. Do you want me to do a quick sound check?
Yeah, would you? That'd be good.
Sure, yeah. Because sometimes the sound doesn't come through. So how is that, Zach?
I didn't really hear it.
Okay, so if you don't mind, when you go to share screen, you would want to click on share. There's like 3 more dots that say allow sound. And I think that often is what happens. Or maybe I have to do it. So I apologize if it's at my end.
I think you have to.
Oh, okay, then that's my bad. No worries. It does. Thank you. Share sound. Let me try that one more time. So I'm glad we checked. Sound come? Yes?
Yep, we're good.
Good. Okay, super. Thank you. Sorry about that.
There we go.
Good.
Hey, Officer Webster, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you tonight?
Good. Hey, George Robinson, how are you tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. I've just walked away for a moment.
George, which neighborhood are you in, sir?
Eagle Hill.
Eagle Hill, that's right.
Yeah, and we're kind of leaderless right now, so
Yeah.
You're my main source of information these days.
Thank you, George. Thank you. It has been a while since Eagle Hill had a meeting. I'm going to make a note about that. Okay. Wait. Hey, Maura.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Well, now I know why I didn't want to get COVID, because it stinks.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
I
you got
think
it.
I think I might have turned a corner today, though. I actually feel much better now than I did even like 10 hours ago. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
so I feel like progress is being made.
I had it back in May and I bounced back within like a day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You know, I've been talking because it turns out, of course, a bunch of us got it at the same time at the same place, and a funeral seems
Oh.
appropriate enough. But I feel like the other people seem like they snap back pretty quick. I feel like I'm the one that's not really snapping back, but I'm fine. I'll be better tomorrow.
Good. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for being a trooper. Hey, Dan, how are you tonight, sir?
Hello, hello, hello.
How's things in Lincoln Park?
Oh, it's been a nice day. Really nice out here. Gotta say that. I'm sorry to hear about you have COVID there, Maura. That's sorry about that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I dodged a bullet for all this time, but I guess my number was coming up sooner or later. But
Well,
yeah.
I've been lucky, but you know,
You've been lucky so far. Yeah. Well, maybe you'll never get it. You'll be one of those people.
I hope so.
I was actually signed up to get the booster, and I ended up canceling it because I got COVID. So there you go.
Oh, gee.
I'll have to get that booster later in the winter, I guess.
My wife was like, let's get it now. Let's get it now as soon as it was available. So I'm glad she did that, actually.
Yeah. Well, I had to wait because my previous one had been back in April. So I would have gotten it earlier if I'd been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, boost the shots probably kept you from getting a lot sicker, though.
That's exactly how I feel about it. Exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some more folks coming. Officer Harrigan. Okay, got Vince Ragosu. Hi, Vince. Long time. How are you, sir?
Great to see you, Zach.
Good to see you too, sir. How's things going?
So, pretty good. You know, we're trying to hang in there, Zach. Few metal, still looking for somebody to take over Eagle Hill. In fact, I'm going to meet with a lady sometime the end of the week. Her name is Ryder. So we'll see what comes of that. Nobody really wants to do it, Zach. I've been trying.
All right. Well, we'll get our heads together and figure something out. Okay.
Right. Thank
Vince,
you.
in the meantime, it's lovely to see you. It's Maura.
Sure.
Hey, Maura, how you been?
Good. How are you? I was just thinking about you the other day.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. How's everything with everyone else here?
Oh, great. Haven't seen you in a while, Vince.
You know, it's what you call aging, and I fall asleep in the chair. But it is good to see everyone.
Yeah.
We got a few more folks coming in. I'll just give another minute, okay, everybody?
Keep going.
Yeah. I'm just gonna.
Nothing from you.
I'm just gonna throw food down.
Grump ass.
Already. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, hi Kathy. We got Michelle trying to join.
Not a lot of people today.
There's Kathy. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, nice. See you. Hi, guys. How's it going today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. We have to get together to have a neighborhood meeting soon.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. All right. Well, there's going to be a few more people joining. Why don't we get the meeting started? Call it to order at 6:33. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the October 6th, 2022 Council of Albany Neighborhood Associations meeting. Zach Simpson here, CANA Chair. I do just want to apologize. I had inadvertently scheduled this October meeting on Wednesday the 5th, not knowing it was Yom Kippur that night. Therefore, we're meeting tonight. So just thank you, everybody, for being patient with the rescheduling that we had. So first, we'll start off with updates from the Albany Police Department. Officer Webster, when you're ready, sir.
All right, thank you, Zach. First, I want to apologize. I worked hard today. I went through all our stats, did our circling, and kept notes, and sitting nicely right on my desk. I forgot it.
Oh, no.
So, but that's okay. Most of the stats that I get, you can actually see yourself on nixle.com. If you download that app, a lot of the crime stats are on that website. So that's not everything that I have access to, but that is one of the ways you can see some stats. But I'll go over a few things that we've had, and I'll be quick. Obviously, I'm sure everybody's seen the news. We had the two murders this past weekend, which both resulted in arrest. So we worked really hard on that, really fast. But unfortunately, it's a pretty sad thing. But the arrests were made quickly, and we're happy about that. But going forward, we are really pressing hard to try to stop some of this violent crime. Cold weather starting to come, and the one thing I did notice is the stat, and I know I talk about this pretty much monthly, is our stolen cars are still way up. And so now that the weather's getting colder, you're going to start seeing more people leave their car running unattended. I would pass through your people in the neighborhoods to please don't leave their keys in the car for any reason. Because as soon as you slip, that's when they get you. I'm telling you, it only takes one time to leave your keys in the car, or leave your car when you run in because it's cold and you want to go into Stewart's to get a coffee, and then you come out and your car is gone. Another thing we're having is, and it's not new, but it's our shoplifting it's really picking up even more than it was. Shoplifting like Hannaford, Price Chopper, Walmart, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of that stuff is not really being enforced in the court system. So it is a tremendous burden on us for report taking and responding to these calls. And not a lot of arrests are being made in these, or if they're being made, then they're not really getting punished. So the shoplifting is becoming a real problem, and it's just killing a lot of our manpower time, which we do have a couple of things that we're trying, like Walmart can sign their own complaints in-house, which is something new we've tried. And we're trying to get to a place where we can do reports on your own mobily. So we won't have to spend manpower, 2 officers or something for shoplifting calls, because it really does take up a lot of our bodies. Other than that, I'd be glad to field some questions. I had other stuff, but like I said, it's sitting on my desk.
Thank you, Oswald. Anybody have any questions for the Albany Police Department?
Yes, I was just wondering about, the car thefts. Are these organized groups, or are they mostly just local kids?
It appears to be now just a crime of opportunity. So I don't think it's anything organized. They're not stealing cars like hot wiring. Their keys are in the car. So it's just a crime of opportunity, kind of like, larceny from a vehicle. You pull on enough handles, sooner or later, one of the doors will open, and then they, whatever's in the car is yours in their mind. So I haven't seen anything that made me think it was organized in any way other than just a crime of opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
And yes, no problem.
I got a question. And this came up at CANA a few years back. Are there override devices that people can use to open doors? Unlock cars?
I'm sure there are, Zach. I have never seen one. I have never taken a report, seen a report that something that like that was used. I mean, I can look deeper into that, but I have not ever experienced that in my career. I'm sure there are tools like that. Like, you know, it's technology I'm sure I don't know about. But,
Yeah, I noticed that there were some posts on like Nextdoor about people swore they locked their car and they got in.
right. Yeah, I know. I hear that quite a bit. But I know there is something with the keys and like, I think it's Kias and Hyundais that's tricky. I saw there's some TikTok videos going around on how to steal, believe it or not, like those type of cars. I'll look more into it in the future because I'm kind of curious too. But as far as I know, I don't know of anything that's been used. I read the reports. It usually says key in vehicle, door ajar, that kind of stuff. I mean, sometimes people leave the keys in the car and they don't realize because of the push button starts. Yeah, go ahead.
What's he saying?
Dan, I've heard through at least two or three different people that there's these magnets, these very strong magnets, and you could put it on the outside of the car and you can maneuver it to get the lock open. I've took reports from people that's reliable, solid people that swear they lock their door, you know, and then they wake up in the morning, the door's unlocked and their stuff is gone. And then I get hearing from other people that there's these magnets. So I personally believe there's tools out there, especially these magnets, where they could unlock your car from the outside with no damage to your car.
Well, that's not going to start the car, but yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I haven't seen one taken off of anybody, so that's something I'll have to keep an eye out for. Thank you.
That's interesting. Okay. Any other questions for Albany Police tonight? All right. All right. Well, thank you very much, Officer Webster. And
thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. So why don't we go to our first presenter tonight? She is Ana Eku, and she is here with the Northeast New York Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health. And she's here to talk about how they keep workers safe from injury and fatalities. So thank you for joining us. Whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. I am so happy to be here today. My name is Noya Ku, and I am a worker rights advocate from Northeast New York Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health, or we are also known as Nanny Kosh. We call ourselves Nanny Kosh. I'll be presenting today on behalf of our organization, my organizations. Thanks for inviting us today, this evening, and allowing us to provide you with information about who we are and the work that we do, what we do. I will be sharing my PowerPoint slide. I believe I have a sharing power, right?
I think so.
Share screen. Okay. Okay, I think.
There you go.
Can you see me? Okay, can you see my,
Um,
can you see the slides?
yes, we can.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just.
You got to go up to the first slide.
Oh, sorry. Okay, we're here. Sorry about that. So I would like to, just like I mentioned before, we are the Northeast New York Coalition for Occupational Safety and Health. Thank you so much for having us today, having me today. I would like to begin by telling you a little bit about who we are, what we do. We are an organization founded in 2014. NANICOJ is a nonprofit membership organization composed of health and safety professionals, labor union activists, workers, community organizations, community members. In our organizations, we believe that most occupational injuries, illnesses, and deaths or fatalities can be prevented. And we believe that everyone deserves to have safe and healthy workplaces. Everyone deserves to be safe at work. So to introduce you a little bit with our staff, we are an organization that is small but mighty. I like to say so. We are an organization consists of 3 staff members, and we have an executive director, Rosanna Cueto-Betras. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, so I am covering for her this evening. And we have our outreach and training assistant, Daniel von Cherubin, and then worker rights advocate, myself. We are a team. We work together with our e-board or executive board as well. Okay, so what we do, to tell you a little bit about what we do as an organization, we provide trainings and education to workers in the Capital District area, capital regions. Our training includes overview of occupational health and safeties, education trainings, and we provide trainings regarding workplace safeties, workplace hazards, and also giving training to workers so that these workers that we work with can understand, the hazards that they face at work, and also knowing, how to better protect themselves. So, or to protect their peers, protect their the co-workers that they work with. We also understand, that, these workers need to understand their rights and understand, their the rights that they have in their workplaces. So we also make sure that we provide languages, services, or provide trainings in the languages that they understand. So we provide trainings in English, primarily English. However, we do provide it to these workers who speak Spanish or Burmese or Korean. We also provide advocacy campaigns and provide, campaigns, support campaigns that, support workers' safety and protections laws. We also provide technical assistance, such as, helping workers to know about their rights, and also knowing the rights and, filing worker compensations. How to complete OSHA complaints forms and things like that. We provide individual case assistance as well as the, other technical assistance to the organizations as well as the individuals that we encounter at the workers that we encounter at our trainings. Okay. So, and why are we talking about workplace health and safeties, and why do we believe it is important? Every year, more than 5,000 workers died on the job, and another 85,000 to 95,000 die every year from exposure to chemicals and toxins at work. So we know that some of the common causes of deaths are falls. Workers tend to fall, those workers who work in the factories tend to work from, dangerous situations, and they tend to work from, higher up level of workplaces level. So they tend to fall and die due to the height. We also see that workers die from transportation incidents, workers who have to drive cars for factories and for their companies die from those car accidents as well, or transportation accidents. We also see workers die from being struck by an object, from working in the factories. And another cause of death that we see common is electrocutions. A lot of workers died who works in the work with the electricity and who works in the energy field tend to get electrocuted and die from the field. And also another cause of death is workers being caught in between objects. So a lot of the workers that we work with and we talk to in the capital district area tend to work in the factories that are, tend to be crowded, or if not, still, have to work with machineries, and they tend to, oftentimes they can be, how do I say this? Caught in between the two machines, and not just in the capital district area, but we're talking about workers in general in the United States, can get caught and die from these causes. So to tell you a little bit about the history of occupational safety and health and how does it come into existence, is that in the 1800s and 1900s, it was very common that children work in the factories, such as textile mills and other industrial sites. And these children worked in very dangerous conditions or factories, and they were being exploited because of their age, because of them being young, and also they were the type of jobs that they did. And because of that, we now have many child labor laws that protect young workers from being abused by employers. And also another example that we can provide here is that Pullman porters who worked on sleeping trains. These workers were mostly known as Black and immigrant workers. These workers were forced to work long hours, and they were also were only paid little, very little. So they were, considering our country's history of slavery and it was the wage theft, we see that it was a huge major issue. It was a major issue, and this is how, this is the history, and this is how it comes into an existence. So to provide you with a little bit more history, how many of you have heard of the Triangle Waste fire?
I
I have.
Same.
Yes.
I've heard of it all my life.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. So sorry, I actually see a hand. Do you have any question? Or?
No, I was just saying that I was raising my hand. Yes, I'd heard of it. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this actually occurred in the New York State. It's occurred in New York City actually, and it's occurred in the shirtwaist factory in New York City, and many of the workers who employed in this factory were immigrant women. And these factories, they were working in these factories, and it was known that it was a very dangerous situation in these factories, and it was not being really taken care of. And one of the things that kind of like caused this major fatalities was these factories only have one fire escape, and a lot of workers work in these factories, and it was also known that the employers were worried that these factories will these factory workers will steal some of the goods from the factory, so they locked the door of the workers and the doors of the factories. They didn't allow exits and things like that. So when and also knowing that with the goods that they work with are flammable. So when the goods, the clothing caught on fires, it was the whole building, people couldn't escape, workers couldn't escape on time, and the escape routes was destroyed due to the efforts of helping and everything like that. So on that day, a lot of lives were lost because of the having one escape doors, because of not having good instructions on how to escape from fires or how to escape from other problems like that. So this is another examples that we wanted to provide here. Okay. And after that, after this incident, it sparked nationwide calls for an increase in worker protection, which laid the foundation of laws that keeps workers safe until today. Okay, so what about today? Do fatalities still happen? Still occur at workplaces? So we see that, and even though the story that I just mentioned in the previous slides, even though that's a history, we can see that clearly that it's still happening until today. So here in the picture, we are seeing Justice Booth and his fiance pictures, as well as his family, the whole family. So this is a picture of him and his fiance. And on May 2016, Justice, who was 23 years old, got a job for a day working for a local landscaping company, and in Schenectady, New York. And the job was going to pay him $60 for that day. And unfortunately, Justice Booth passed away or died from the job. He was killed on the job after being pulled into the wood chipper. He had never done landscaping work before. He had never received any training, was not provided trainings by that employer or that person who, landscaping company who were willing to hire him that day, and was not properly instructed on how to operate heavy machinery involved landscaping work. So today, over 5,000 workers in the US are killed on the job every year. And Justice Stories is unfortunately the local story that is a reality, a wake-up call for us to look at. Okay, so why is it important to protect vulnerable populations, vulnerable workers? We know that the rates of injuries and deaths are highest among these populations. That's why it's very important to protect all workers, but also particularly focusing on vulnerable populations. We see that low-wage workers who work in low wage are particularly susceptible to illnesses, susceptible to fatalities and other workplace issues, and also temporary workers and immigrant workers. Those immigrant workers, as well as the young workers, and we have non-unionized workers as well as service sector workers. These are workers who work in the employment sectors where they weren't paid enough, so they weren't paid enough, so that they have to work long hours to make enough money to survive, to pay for their families, to pay for their food, right? We have immigrant workers who come into the countries, who needs help, who needs safety, who needs jobs, and who do whatever jobs that are provided to them. We have young workers who go into work without knowledge of workplace settings, knowledge of workplace health and safety injuries. We have a lot of, so these workers goes under vulnerable populations, vulnerable workers, and we work to ensure that these workers were provided with trainings and education, so that they can better protect themselves as well as protect their families and friends. So We are, just like I mentioned before, we are here to help. We are an organization that provide lots of services, including health and safety trainings about, infectious diseases, training about so many things. However, we also provided personal assistance, such as worker compensation, completing worker compensations form, or completing OSHA complaints, things like that. We also work to educate workers around wage theft, so that workers understand, whether they have been taken advantage of or not, things like that. We also partner with other organizations. One of the example is Unitas Referrals. It's a network or a platform that work to provide assistance services to a lot of people. So we partner with this organization to not only provide workers who come to us with, workplace, employees related questions or assistance, but we also provide them if employees need help with, filing application form for food stamp, or filing, application form for Medicaid, things like that. We tend to refer them because we know that, in order for workers to be healthy, to be, to have a healthy life, we want to provide like holistic support, right? Not just with one support, one referral, but we tend to make sure we provide them with all the assistance that they need. So far in 2022, Nanikosh we trained more than 700 workers, including 162 workers, young workers between the ages of 14 to 17. We partner with a lot of organizations or communities. We partner with Capital District EOC Center to work with the students that they have, the young adults that they have there. We also work with backtracks workers from Saratoga. We also work with refugees organizations, Korean, Buddhist, other Korean organizations. We work with a lot of organizations so that we can provide trainings to the populations. So some of the trainings topics I briefly mentioned a little bit, but these are some of the trainings topics that we provide. We provide occupational health and safety overview, so that in this training, people understand about their rights, their workplace health and safety conditions, how to better protect themselves, how to know that employers are responsible for their safety at work and things like that. We also provide infectious diseases and COVID-19 curriculums or trainings. We tend to make sure it was very important that we provide this training, especially during the past 2 years with COVID pandemic. We also provide effective use of PPE. Again, the same thing, very important to provide this training back in the past 2 years, because, effective use of PPE, people need to be understanding of how to use their equipment effectively so that they can protect themselves, right? We provide worker compensation trainings as well as resources in the case of injuries at work. What should they do? What should workers do? How do they seek out for helps and things like that? And workplace violence and sexual harassment trainings. So we always are looking for trainings partners. We always wanted to reach out to, people, new groups, or, the same group, but we want to provide them with our trainings and, the information that we have. So we always reach out to people. We always look out for new group. So, these are our information. You can reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you from, this email, nanikosh@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, which is nanikosh.org, or we are also on Facebook. You can also keep in touch with us on up there. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, I'll be around.
Thank you very much, Noah. Anybody have any questions for Noah?
I'm wondering if I hear people all the time saying that they want to file a complaint or something about their workplace and stuff, should I send them to you?
Yeah.
To walk them through the process? They don't really know what to do. So you would refer them or deal with them directly?
Yes. So we actually have a board member who works with working compensations and this side of job, and he's also, our advisor. So yes, you can definitely send those employees to us, and we work with them. If we need any information, we reach out to our network, and you can definitely reach out to us.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Michelle has a hand up.
Okay, yes. So I just want to be clear, the trainings that you provide, they're not the technical trainings that OSHA provides. These are more like, I'm sorry. Other kind of trainings.
Take it.
Are you okay? Better? Okay. Okay, I'll try to answer your questions. I believe you were saying if the trainings are similar to what OSHA provide, if I'm understanding correctly. So we do not provide OSHA 10, like 10 hours of industrial trainings and things like that. However, our trainings are more like an overview of health and safety trainings, overview of sexual violence training, workplace sexual harassment, sexual violence, or overview of occupational safety and health, things like that. Did I answer your question?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else have questions for Noah? Okay. Well, Noah, thank you very much for presenting on the important work you folks do. I really appreciate you coming tonight.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to add, please reach out to us, and we are always lookout for partners to partner with. And also we want to provide, because the trainings are beneficial to the people. So we want to provide trainings to the community's members and things like that. And I hope I didn't take up a lot of time. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Noah. Thank you. All right. So next we have Catherine Costo here with the Albany County. She's Executive Director of the Albany County Historical Association and Tenbrook Mansion. And she's here to tell us a little bit about what the great things they're doing over there this year. Thanks, Catherine. Are you ready?
Excellent. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to thank Zach Simpson and CANA for inviting me this evening. So hopefully this will work. I'm going to try a little share screen with you. And let's see if we can get this to go. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you did hear sound with that. Oh, good, wonderful. So I will now, thank you so much. So you saw a little bit of a preview of where I'm so fortunate to work. And also I know Zach's husband, John, is on our board of trustees. So it's a wonderful organization. And so now I will share a little bit more with you about what we do. And let's try good old PowerPoint, which sometimes can be a little tricky. So hopefully you're seeing, and then I'll try to start this slideshow. How's that sound? So is everyone seeing a slideshow now?
Yep, looks good.
All right, so I work at the Albany County Historical Association 10 Mansion, and our mission is actually twofold. We are a historic site. We're proud to be at the center of Albany's second oldest neighborhood in Arbor Hill. It's a richly diverse community. It's a very walkable neighborhood, and we're so delighted to be there serving our neighbors and all of Albany County. So our official mission is to preserve and present the rich and diverse history and culture of Albany County. And I'll take you through that a little bit more. So here we have the 1798 Tenbrook Mansion. We have 4 acres of historic grounds that are open to the community during the day, free of charge. And who had this house built for him? Well, here's Abraham Tenbrook. This is painted just a few years before the house was built. He was a Revolutionary War general. He was twice mayor of Albany, and he welcomed George Washington to Albany at the end of the Revolution. George Washington wanted to thank Albany for their support during the Revolution. And we always like to say this at the Tenbrook Mansion. What do we really think is the turning point in the Revolution? Do we think it's Saratoga or do we think it's Yorktown? Well, we like to say that we're Team Saratoga here in the Capital District. So Abraham Tenbrook was essential in really the success of the American cause. So we have some very significant history in our site. And of course, you can tour the mansion. We have tours running throughout the week, special tours as well. And our fall tour season is winding down on October 15th, but then we open up again in December. And we are always open for special tours, and we always try to be accessible. So if your organization has high need, we are very flexible on our admission, and children are always free. I'm so proud to share that our board voted to make 100% of our children's programs free. And the grounds are an important part of our interpretation. One thing we'd like to share is the first persons on this land, of course, it's Mohican land and then Mohawk, but the first people to actually occupy the landscape were of African descent. They were there long before the Tenbrooks actually moved in. They were called master gardeners. So they were on the site as early as 1764. And it's basically a combination of an arborist, a surveyor, a sort of a landscape architect. So we share all those diverse stories. And you also probably saw this image in the video. We share the stories of people like Rosanna Valsburg. The Tenbrooks actually were only at the house until 1813. And the family that was in the Tenbrook Mansion the longest was the Alcott family. They were there for 3 generations, for 100 years. And their household manager is this person, Rosanna Valsburg. Rosanna Valsburg was not enslaved by the Alcotts. In fact, they were abolitionists. They were of Quakers background. And Rosanna Valsburg, she was baptized into the African Baptist Church at age 21. She helped found a precursor to the Underground Railroad called the Lundy Society. She's the household manager for the Alcott, so she's supervising a staff of Irish servants. And what's more, she's a philanthropist. Upon her death, she had set up a charity for, in her words, the leading African women of Albany. So we have this amazing person's story right here in Albany. So again, the rich and diverse history, I think you can see. So what do we do at a historic house museum? Some people asked us the other day, what kind of museum is this? Well, our grounds are a very important part of our service to the community. They are open free during the day. We welcome you to visit. We have a kiosk where we have free self-guided tours, maps, children's kits, always available. We have a landscape team doing volunteer work you can probably make out in our beautiful grounds. And of course, come at tulip time in the spring. And it is an ecosystem as well. So we like to call it, wonderful breathing space right in the middle of Arbor Hill. You're welcome to bring a lunch. We just ask, pack in and pack out. And of course, as a museum, we preserve the historic artifacts and documents. Here's Abraham Tenbrook's communication here to Governor George Clinton. And we also take care of the historic house, but I like to say we do it with a twist. Here's our dining room table, and you're probably wondering, what is going on here? Well, this summer we had a whole series exploring plants from around the world, and this happened to be when we explored the plants of Oceania, and of course, pineapples. And they were very rare in the 18th century. So if you had a pineapple, you had a party, and the pineapple actually got the best seat at the table. So we recreated a typical sort of 18th, 19th century centerpiece, a little bit over the top, but we sometimes forget that they were very exuberant in the past. So that was really a highlight of one of our tours. And we have a very active children's engagement program. As I shared, I'm so proud that our board supports 100% free educational programming for our community, always free and everyone's welcoming. So the theme we explored this past summer is around the world. So we started with the plants of Africa. We had papyrus in our gardens at the Tenbrook Mansion, plants of Asia, North America, Oceania, South America, and of course, Europe. And the children who visited made fairy gardens. You can see sunflower hats to celebrate all of these discoveries we're planting in our gardens. And guess what? It was a bit of a drought, but the gourds that we planted have now come to life, and we have a nice little crop that we're going to harvest. So again, we are open for that. And then we had bulb planting this past Saturday. And one program I'd like to highlight to you is going to be this Saturday. We've been doing this throughout the summer. One of the things we realize as a museum is whose stories are told. Certainly stories like Abraham Tenbrook, Revolutionary War General, but how do we get everyone's stories? Well, we need your participation. We want to work with you. So we have a free program called Treasuring Family Stories, Family History Scanning Days. And so we certainly know about the Tenbrooks, and many of these families do have very extensive records, and that's wonderful. If you happen to be a descendant of a family that, for various reasons, you didn't have a fire, you didn't have to move, you had a relative who didn't throw anything away, that is wonderful, and you should be very proud of it. But realize that's a very rare circumstance. And one of the things this program does is we look at less typical records. And basically, we have a way to scan them for you while you wait. You get a free copy of your records. So you keep them. You don't turn them over. You keep the records, but you get them professionally scanned. You get a USB copy, so you can take it home. You get a set of white gloves, archival materials to preserve your family records. And then in return, we have the scanned records that we can share with researchers worldwide. So we work with you on that. And here's an example of some of the Dutch records that we've been scanning. And less common records. What if your family doesn't happen to have this? In my family's case, they had to move and someone took very precious things that my immigrant grandmother and grandfather had. So they're gone. But there are other ways to trace those stories. And we have a series of lectures that are going to be coming up this Saturday, exploring African-American identity in Albany. And we looked at census records. So even if we're not able to find family papers, there are ways to reconstruct those stories. So we're having talks by the Underground Railroad Historic Site, the Myers residence at 1 o'clock. We're presenting what's called Hannah's Family, which is a story about a woman. There's one photograph of her, but we found an entire history for her from that one photograph. And at 3 o'clock, we have the Rapp Road Historical Association presenting how to research your family's history, particularly if your family was part of the Great Migration. And one thing we want to encourage is think about those unusual records like samplers. Children's lives are often left out of the historical narrative. So this is made by a young girl, 7 years old. So you could bring in something like this. Or here we have a photograph. It is of the Tenbrook Mansion, but it's not the grounds, I should say, but it's not the mansion, it's the gardeners. So one of the things we're doing is looking at all the people who created this beautiful landscape. And we're also proud to share that we have descendants of people who worked at the Tenbrook Mansion and also descendants of the historical community the term is free persons of color on our board of directors. So being representative is very important to us as a museum. So here are the 10 Brook Mansion gardeners. This is the Marks family, Isidore and Anna Marks. And we share all those stories. This is the photograph that we developed a whole program on. One single photograph and one glass plate negative, Hannah's family. And if you're able to come to the program, we also have it on YouTube. You can see how we were able to actually find dozens of documents just working from one first name and these two photographs, one photo and one negative. And you know, some of it is we looked at all the details. We just used every clue to uncover those stories. And one thing I want to share with you is we hope that you participate or share this program with others, because here's another example. This is a collection called the Vecta family. They are a very well-to-do Dutch American family who lived in Albany County. But as you can see, who is this young girl? She is actually the daughter of German immigrants, and she has put on her, you know, special regional costume for a special event, and she's included with the family photos. So if we don't scan these photos and share it with other people, we're actually sharing the stories of everyone. Because as I like to share, I believe and I know that we are all related somehow. We are all interconnected. So by sharing your family's stories with researchers, you're not only illuminating your own family's history, but you're providing, just like this photo, you're providing insight to a family that may have not had those records preserved. So we hope that you're able to join us Saturday, October 8th, on our Path Through History Day. You can walk, bike, or drive. We have the free family history scanning day at the same time. We have some upcoming kids programs, October 22nd, free family scavenger hunt, book giveaways, art and school supply giveaway. We have our gala, and we do appreciate the support for that. And then in December, we have our holiday house with caroling and walkthrough tours and kids programs. And we hope that you get involved. We are a 501c3 not-for-profit museum. We're celebrating 80 years. And the way that we have thrived is because everyone in Albany County cares deeply about our organization. So please get involved as a member, perhaps as a volunteer, or spread the word. We have an internship available. And we hope that you consider becoming a member. And if you're already a member, please invite a friend. Thank you so much. And if there's any questions. There's some chat items.
Yeah, Dan, you have a question in the chat, I think.
Yes, I see, Dan. What was the name of the society? It was called the Lundy Society, which is named after an early abolitionist, Lundy. And it's, you know, basically these groups getting together to work on freedom, bringing people out of enslavement. And that's essentially a precursor to Stephen Meyer's Underground Railroad Center. Yeah. Thank you. All right. If there's any other questions, just let me know and I can put my email in the chat. Thank you again, Zach.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. I thought, is John O'Grady on, Helen? For our codes committee? I thought I saw John O'Grady.
Yeah, John's not here. I'm here.
Oh, hi, Helen.
I know nothing about it.
Okay, I'll skip ahead. All right. So just under new business, I did get an email from Scott Townsend with the Albany Riverfront Collaborative. He came to speak to CANA in the past about the idea of taking down 787 and reimagining the waterfront. So that group with another organization called Sustainable Growth and United Way and the Albany County Land Bank, they're going to be working on a grant application for a United States Department of Transportation grant for funds to supplement the state Department of Transportation engineering feasibility and planning study that Assemblywoman Pat Fahey's been very involved with. So they're asking for $450,000 of additional federal supplemental funds to fund this. It's called the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program. They're actually working on some additional information and a survey to share with CANA. So when that's available, I will share that with the rest of the group. And
Yes, and not that much so. All right.
okay, does anybody else have anything new business wise tonight?
Hydrogen run out.
I don't think so. Does anybody have any new business tonight? All right. Right, just let's see, future meetings, November 2nd, we have Pamela Howard, Executive Director, Historic Albany Foundation, and Andrea Nicolay, she is the new Executive Director of the Albany Public Library. And then December 7th, we have Akum Norder, she is the author of The History of Here, A House, the Pine Hills Neighborhood, and the City of Albany. It's a great book if you haven't read it yet. And then we're gonna do our neighborhood go around. Hope we have a couple neighborhoods that want to talk a little bit about what they've done this year. And then we'll have the elections of officers for the 2023-2024 CANA term. Okay. I think that's all I have. If anybody else has any questions, comments? All right. Nice short meeting tonight. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next month.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank
Bye,
you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.